Hello everyone and welcome to the download from 24 IT Services. I'm back after a week off. It was my first week off of the year actually. And would you know it, in a couple of weeks time, I'm off again. We've got another brilliant show lined up today with a great guest from our local business community. And it's definitely not Taylor Swift. So my podcast episode will get nowhere near as many views as the New Heights podcast. Last I checked, it was like 8 million views already today. Today, however, we are joined by the one and only, the man behind the scenes who has been leading the Save DSA campaign and also the business owner of Stadium Garage, Mark Chadwick.
Good morning. How are we?
I'm doing all right, thank you. How are you doing today, Mark?
Yeah. Busy as always, mate. Busy as always.
Have you had a good week?
Yeah. We had a morning out yesterday, didn't we? That were all right, And
in fact, we're going to talk about that in a little bit for this first news story. So actually, let's get stuck right into that. So
go for it.
Usually, I do the podcast live on a Wednesday. Today's episode, pre-recorded. In fact, I've already had like 3 misstarts already. I don't usually do misstarts. I just go straight into it. But yesterday, we headed out actually to Doncaster, Sheffield Airport. And the reason we were out there was for the start of the campaign fundraising efforts for the Military versus Cancer field gun pull with the Vulcan of the Sky Trust. So we got to go out, see the Vulcan. There was people from across the local business community there. But the campaign itself is bringing together 1,300 serving and ex-military personnel to be able to pull a field gun, which was actually on display whilst we were there yesterday, over 1,000 miles from John O'Groats to Land's End. The gun will be pulled 20 to 25 miles roughly a day between Monday and Friday over a number of weeks, and it requires 20 personnel just to be able to pull it. There'll be 6 drivers as part of the support personnel, 2 safety people, a medic, bringing the total actually to 29 people per day who will be taking part in this charity event. And they're only asking that each person who is involved in the pull actually raise £100 for each day that they take part, with many people saying that they're going to be doing multiple days. And our own Tony Houlihan, as well as Adam, who was there at the event yesterday, have committed to be able to take part for at least a day or 2. Of course, yesterday's was just the launch event where, like I say, we brought out people from across the local region. Mark, of course, we invited you out, and you actually invited out a few people from across the local business community yourself, which was really nice as well. And it was good to be able to
more people involved.
It was good to be able to bring so many people together. I mean, what did you think of the event? What do you think about the fundraising that's going to be being done?
I think it's a great charity, isn't it?
It is.
I think cancer affects an awful lot of people, far too many people, to be fair.
It does. And, it does.
Raise a few quid to help the the cancer charities find a cure eventually. That's what their aim is, isn't it?
Exactly.
I think absolutely brilliant. And the armed forces and the veterans and whatever. I think they deserve a lot of respect for what they're doing, and things like this just show how bothered they are about the country.
Yeah. No, it's an absolutely brilliant cause, and like you say, to be able to raise money to support people and their families who are suffering with cancer. I mean, behind the scenes, my mum passed away from cancer 17 years ago today, in fact.
Yes.
And it's something that I've always tried to be involved with, these cancer charities, and raising awareness and trying to support where possible. So if anyone would like to find out more about the field gun pull, we do have posts up on LinkedIn and Facebook for the 24 IT socials. I know, Mark, you put up a post with some pictures on yesterday.
That's right. Yeah.
But if anyone wants,
what's amazing is they're trying to raise £150,000.
Yeah, it's absolutely brilliant that they're trying to raise so much money to be able to put towards a great cause to support people and their families. But if you want to find out more, people can head over to crowdfunder.co.uk and just search for Field Gun Pull 2025. I will make sure that that's linked in the description and comments of these videos when they go live. And all money raised goes towards supporting these people and their families who are facing a cancer diagnosis and treatment, including end-of-life care as well. So thank you very much, Mark, for being able to join that yesterday and bringing people
Yeah, it was
out.
an interesting morning. It was
It
good.
was. It
It was
was.
good.
I've
Good
never
to meet
actually been
people.
up in the Vulcan before. I've never been actually that close to the Vulcan before. So to be able to go up and see inside the cockpit and actually hear some of the stories as well, absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
I was fortunate in 2022 to go when they had an engine run.
All right.
Yeah, and the fire service at the airport invited me over.
Yeah.
So we had a run up the runway in the fire in one of the big red fire engines, and then we were treated a little bit differently, and we got to stand under the Vulcan when it was running, which
Wow.
was amazing. Yeah,
I
the
know I was
power
talking
of
to them yesterday, and they were saying that one of their aims is to get the engine running again at some point. Can't fly it, but they would like to be able to get the engine running again at some point.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, they're not allowed at the moment, I
Yeah.
don't think. Yeah.
I think they'll probably have to wait until maybe close to the time of when the airport's closer to being in proper operation, let's say.
Yeah. I believe the plan with the Vulcan is to find it a little base where it's
Yeah,
got its own
a more
little spot.
permanent home.
Yeah,
Because they can't keep it in the position that it's currently at, can they? Once it
No.
opens. So
No.
yeah, they were talking about different plans to be able to, like, where they could potentially have it for people to be able
That's
to
right.
come and visit it and be able to go up
Yeah.
inside.
I
Like
believe
we got the chance.
there's a spot's been identified for it.
Yeah, they were saying that there's one particular that they've been looking at the moment.
That's right. Yeah. Not far away either.
No. Should be easy for people to be able to come and visit it, which is good.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, let's move over on to the second news story of today. And I know, Mark, you've admitted to me on many occasions that you're not the most technical person in the world, I think, as you've worded it.
That's one way of putting it.
Yeah. But we will be covering some tech, AI, and cyber news. And let's start.
It's like this camera I've got that's got a world of its own.
Yeah. These AI cameras that keep moving around here.
Yeah. I'm not even there. I don't move, and it's just moving side to side on me. I'm like, is it me?
Well, let's start with some AI news then. So, OpenAI this past week released ChatGPT 5, the latest version of their platform, which brings a more than 30% improvement over the previous 4.0 model, which is also around 45% less likely to hallucinate on queries and 80% less likely on reasoning queries. And whilst these don't seem like massive improvements off of like looking at it, for those who've tested it, they've said that OpenAI are now focusing on making the platform much easier to use, providing a more streamlined functionality. No longer do users have to select from a list of like different models for different tasks. Just type in your query and the platform will automatically address whether it needs to be a lightweight model or a model for coding or one for analytics and so on. And there's even improvements to things like healthcare uses, for example, which after a story I saw of a man consulting an older version of ChatGPT for medical advice and it told him to replace table salt with sodium bromide, I'm glad they're focusing on improvements to healthcare recommendations because consult healthcare professionals where available. I would say that. Yeah. I mean, I've run it through its through some tests, should I say, this past week since the ChatGPT 5 model was released. And whilst it had some issues initially due to the large amount of people who were testing it, I actually got some quite good results from it. I got it to be able to create a chess game yesterday with different images for different pieces and different mechanics, which was really, really interesting. And all I did was type a 2-sentence thing like create a playable chess game, and it did all of the coding for it. And yeah, really, really interesting, really seamless to be able to use. And additionally, problem solving seems to have improved quite dramatically. I gave it a complex word puzzle to be able to solve, and the older models have struggled, basically cheating to get around the rules that I've given it. But this one actually admitted now, oh, I can't solve this puzzle with my current model. But it then recognized to be able to solve it, I would need to write a program to be able to follow the rules that you've set. And it then said, do you want me to write a program for this? I was like, okay, yes, do that. And then I ran it and it solved the puzzle first time. And I was like, wow, that is absolutely amazing. For it to be able to recognize with my current knowledge and ability, I cannot do this. However, I can write this code based on the rules that you've given me and I can solve it. It was absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So really looking forward to seeing how this progresses. And I know that from previous discussions, you're not a big user of AI. Do you think that
Try not
there's
to. No.
no? Do you
I live
think?
in the real world sometimes.
Yes. Do you think that there's been any advancements in AI that you've seen over the past few years that could have, I don't know, particularly interesting implications on your own future users? I mean, let's talk about, for example, for the garage, taking a
Yeah.
photo of an engine, describing a problem, and an AI being able to provide a sample diagnosis. Mainly, I suppose this would be for like apprentices and people who are just starting out.
Yeah.
Do you think that something like that could be potentially useful in your industry, or do you think that real world experience and being able to pass on knowledge to future generations is a better use for this in your industry, let's say?
Yeah. I think AI running diagnostics may be a help, but I don't think it would be the cure to the problem, if that
No.
makes sense. No. Quick example, another garage that I know not far from here got themselves a diagnostic computer. This car broke down.
Yeah.
They got it into the garage. It had a fault code for an exhaust sensor.
Yeah.
So they changed the exhaust sensor. It cost about £200 to the guy, and it still wouldn't run. Yeah, the car had run out of fuel.
Yeah.
The car had literally run out of fuel. It got no fuel in it. So the £200 on an exhaust sensor and what have you.
Yeah.
And then they pushed it up to us, and it's got no fuel pressure because an exhaust sensor isn't going to cause a non-start, non-runner. So
yeah, I suppose to an extent, yeah. Your experience with AI and especially with cameras isn't the best, I would say.
No.
But I suppose, like I say, that there are certain industries that will only see limited uses for some of these AI technologies as they develop. I mean, for example, we've supported businesses put in processes for like when they have invoices come in. Some people send like paper invoices, or some people are still using fax. So we've put in processes to be able to read these invoices, and an AI automation will shoot off into financial accounts and stuff like that. So to that extent, that may be able to support small to medium-sized businesses who may not
running
have
the business would probably be all right. Yeah. Running the business would be good, but actually diagnosing a fault on a car,
probably not so much.
I think you need the experience, and of course, then the problem you've got is, I've plugged my car. People buy these little code readers and plug it into the car when the light comes. I've plugged it in and it wants so and so. It might not want that actually, but it. People are. It's like when you're ill and you look on Google to see what's wrong with you, and
Dr. Google.
and it's the same thing with cars. People do exactly the same thing. They got a little code reader for 20 quid off Temu or wherever, and you can buy them from other places, by the way. And and they get the code and they ring us up and say, "Oh, I want so and so, so and so." Oh, yeah. Well,
does it really?
Not, because something else could be causing that fault. So, when you've got the little handheld things from off the internet, they give you an idea of what's wrong, but when you plug a dedicated diagnostic tablet in there, and we get a lot more information. It's surprising how much more information we get. On the IT that we use.
Yeah, I mean, I will be the very first person to admit my knowledge of cars it gets me from A to B, and probably a few other things I could write on the back of a postage stamp. Whenever I have any car issues, I will be the first person to say, right, I need to take it to the garage to be able to get it sorted. Just like, you do what you need to do, because I have no idea.
That's it, mate.
I would rather not self-diagnose. Same with the doctors, like we've said. I would rather not refer to Dr. Google, because all of a sudden I'm suffering with some, I don't know, incurable disease or something like that. No, just get to the doctors,
just go to
get the professionals sort it.
That's it. Yeah. We even get people where they've got a little code reader and they do that, and then they go and buy some parts.
Oh, God.
And then ring us up and say, I bought the parts. And it might not be that, really. So it's in the internet and AI technology and all that is absolutely brilliant. To give people an idea of what's going off, but I don't think it's going to cure it.
No.
I mean, my car's got, I don't know if you call it AI, but it senses itself in the lane and what have you.
Mine does that as well.
and I turn it off.
Yeah. I think the
drive it
only
and stay
time
home. I
I
don't
ever
need that.
turn it on is if I'm on a long, like motorway, long stretch of road,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
even then, I will never take my hands off the wheel because it's like
yeah, yeah. Oh
I
no,
don't
no.
think it's smart enough yet to be able to
Yeah.
do that. There are some cars that have a lot more sensors,
Oh
but
yeah,
like my car, I would rather be actually hands on the wheel driving it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I tend to find with the lane centering thing on is it's constantly moving the steering wheel. It's
Yeah,
constantly judging and everything. And I
and
can hold the steering wheel straight
yeah,
and you know, we don't need it. So
and
is that a
also
form of AI? Probably not, but you know,
it's more automations, isn't it? I mean, I've
that's right.
found that when I've been using it, if there's been roadworks, for example, and they've had like temporary lane markings, it
Yeah. Yeah,
senses those as actual lane markings and it wants to pull you
yeah,
over, and it's like,
that's right.
no,
Yeah,
stop doing that.
yeah. Turn it off. Turn it off.
Yeah. Let's move on to our next news story of the day. And I don't know whether this affected you, Mark, when it happened, but I've been monitoring it on and off for the last couple of months. And it's actually been probably about a month since I last spoke about it on the podcast. The
Okay.
M&S cyber attack.
All right.
M&S
Yeah.
has finally resumed their click and collect service
Okay.
15 weeks following the cyber
Wow.
attack. That's
Yeah.
massive. So the cyber attack crippled their online and in-store services,
Yeah.
affecting multiple areas of their extended supply chain as well. And this is despite M&S claiming that they had robust security systems in place and
Yeah.
disaster recovery and business continuity plans in place to ensure that they got back up and running as quickly as possible in the event of an attack. Now,
15 weeks.
15 weeks doesn't really seem as
Wow.
quick as possible.
No.
It
No.
seems like they could
No.
have had a much more robust system in
Yeah.
place. I suppose for yourself, Mark, and I've asked this to a few different people when we've been discussing it
Okay.
on the show. Do you think that you could trust a brand such as M&S, who have suffered a large cyber attack, which has involved the breach of and leak of customer data on the internet? Do you think you could trust a brand like that following this type of an attack?
I think you've got to have some concerns, haven't you?
Yeah, definitely.
Like, it's quite so you've got to really look, once they get all sorts of that, you know, these people should be telling us exactly what they've done and what they've done to stop it happening again,
Yeah.
and reassuring us that we've that our information is secure.
And
You know,
that's what
so
many
the
people have
co-op
said.
had the same issue as well, didn't it?
Yeah, Co-op and
Yeah,
also Harrods, they
yeah,
they weren't as heavily targeted, but they were targeted by the
yeah,
same people at about the same
yeah,
time as well.
yeah, yeah.
And also there was an airline in Australia, I can't actually remember which airline it
Okay,
was now, that
right.
were also targeted by the same people.
Yeah,
And it's one of those things, once your data has been stolen, I mean, that data could be anything. It could just be um, names, addresses, email addresses, phone numbers,
yeah.
or
Date of
it
birth,
could
etc.
be,
Yeah,
yeah, it could be shopping habits. Like all of a
yeah,
sudden, cyber criminals know that, I don't know, you buy so much toilet roll every week that you go, or something like that. It
yeah,
could
yeah,
be
yeah, yeah,
anything. And then these cyber criminals can then target you on email or phone, like, oh, we've got an offer on this. Do you want to pay for it up front and we can get you a discount? And like all of a sudden they're trying to take card details.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, beyond this, I suppose the bigger question is, do you think that businesses as a whole, I mean, more small to medium businesses, I suppose, in this instance, have the right protections in place to be able to protect the data of their customers? I mean, the statistics show that in 2024, out of 8.58 million attacks on UK businesses,
Okay,
67% of those were small to medium sized businesses. I mean, we hear
right. Wow.
about the M&S, we hear about the
Yeah, yeah,
co-op and stuff like that,
yeah.
but the reality is that the majority of businesses that are facing these cyber attacks are actually the small to medium sized businesses that we interact with probably in the local area almost every
Yeah,
day.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Do
I mean,
do
at the garage, our customer relationship manager, our CRM is cloud based.
Yeah,
A big company that does multi-site garages, main dealers, and everything. So, you know, you'd like to think that they've got the security in place to protect the
yeah,
software on their computer. I suppose the biggest issue we would have is they got into ours and got the passwords.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
you
I
know.
suppose it's
Yeah,
making sure then that these businesses, like yourselves and other businesses across the local region, understand the types of protections that they can put in place, maybe
yeah,
on the PC side or on the account side, like enabling multi-factor authentication wherever it's available,
yeah,
or
yeah,
even enabling multi-factor authentication on a PC side where you have to put in a second code, or even facial recognition to be able to get into a
Yeah,
PC
yeah,
in
yeah,
some instances as well. Just making sure that people are aware of those additional security processes that they can put in place as well. And that's
yeah,
something that we try to do. We release educational articles on our website every week. We've got a backlog of, well, since I joined the company coming up to 2 years ago, there's been new articles released every week, with
yeah,
sometimes
yeah.
multiple articles released every week. And this month, well, this coming October is Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and every
Right.
day throughout the month, we'll be updating and republishing some older
Okay.
articles to give businesses hopefully the knowledge that they need to protect themselves from these modern types of attacks. So
Right. Right. Yeah.
if anyone wants to find those, 20-4 IT, head over to the news and insights section and they can be found there. A couple of shorter stories now for this week, though. So this is quite a funny one. It was funny probably for me because I kind of follow the tech industry. But
Okay.
yesterday, Elon Musk alleged that Apple doesn't allow any other AI company besides OpenAI, who run ChatGPT, to be number one in the App Store. This is despite multiple other companies actually having reached number one over the past couple of years who
All right.
operate in the AI space. And Musk didn't have any evidence to these claims. He just published it on X and yeah, let people respond to it. So OpenAI's Sam Altman, who is the owner of OpenAI, ChatGPT, then responded saying that he heard, and also linked a news story, that Elon Musk himself boosts his own engagement and impressions on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it nowadays, to benefit his own series of companies and harm competitors and people that he doesn't like.
No.
But it gets worse. A user then on X asked Grok AI, which exists also as an account that people can just at and message,
Yeah.
if if Grok could weigh in on the situation. It said, sorry, it said that Musk has a history of directing the X algorithm to make changes to boost his posts in favor of his interests. So his
Right.
own AI
Yeah.
basically said that he's he's actually doing things for his own interests on his own platform. And this also
Yeah.
comes after recently they made changes to the Grok algorithm to be able to reference Elon Musk's post before checking other sources. Apparently, they've now rolled that back. But if you're creating an AI that's then going to check your personal opinions on something before referencing the knowledge of the internet,
Yeah.
I would say that's slightly a little bit biased.
Yeah. Yeah. Just might be putting yourself at the forefront there, isn't it?
Yeah. And also
Yeah.
recently, he's now said that he plans to introduce adverts into Grok's AI answers. Like, you
Okay.
could pay for an AI to be able to recommend your services. I mean, I feel that we're getting, if other services decide to do this, which I'm hoping that they don't, we're going down a very slippery path with how AI could be used. Because before you know it, we're going to be getting recommendations of products and services and solutions, let's say,
Yeah. Yeah.
that
Yeah.
are completely false and don't have any grounding in reality.
Yeah. Yeah. I suppose it's an awkward one. I mean, we all get Google reviews and stuff, don't we? And they're from genuine people.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
and I think if you're looking for a company or a recommendation or something like that, I think you've got to stick to where people leave their own reviews rather than using a
exactly.
search engine or AI or something like that.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
was speaking with someone, only a couple of weeks back at the marketing forum,
Yeah. Yeah.
and we were talking about Google Adverts,
Yeah.
and they said, "Do you use Google Adverts?" I was like, "We don't at the moment. We've explored it, and there's still potentially the option there for us."
Yeah.
But personally, if I'm searching for something on Google, the very first thing I do is I scroll past
You scroll
adverts.
past the sponsor ones. That's
Yep,
right. Yeah. Yeah.
because
Yeah.
for me, people who are paying to be there may not always be the right people to be able
That's
to
it.
provide
Yeah.
the service or the software or the solution to something
Yeah.
that I'm looking for.
We used them some time ago now,
Yeah.
and we found that a large multi site garage company was actually using the Google AdWords and our adverts, and they were piggybacking on us,
Yeah.
so that they got at the top of the list before we did.
We see it
So they
all
were
the time.
moving.
We
Yeah.
have competitors, I'll not name any names, who
No.
use our company name as part
Yeah.
of their targeted ads.
That's
So
right. Yeah.
if they were to search, if anyone was to search for us, higher than us on the listing would be this other company.
Yeah.
And it's like, whilst we understand there is plenty of business to be able to go around across
All right. Yeah.
MSPs, IT, cybersecurity across the local region, and we never target like another. If we know that a business is with another provider and that
Yeah.
they have a long history with them, we will not
Leave them
target
to
them.
it. Yeah.
It's not fair. It's not the right way to be able to do it. I mean,
That's right.
we have a business on our business park, let's say, who are with another local provider, and
Okay.
we've not spoken to them about moving their services or anything. In fact, we supported them with getting internet into their building only
Yeah.
because it's on our business park and it made sense for us to be able to support them. But we actually have an open relationship now with their
Yeah. Yeah.
existing provider to be able to say, look, if there's anything that you need, if say for example, they needed to send an engineer to site to this particular business,
Yeah. Yeah.
phone us up. Ask if
Yeah.
we can just quickly go down and liaise with them
Just
on it.
send somebody over.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's about having open relationships with these other
Yeah.
local businesses,
Yeah.
not
We all have to work
actively
together.
targeting them.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You know,
But yeah,
there's a group of us in the garage trades, you know, that we all know each other and we all have a chat every now and again. And you know, if we're busy, oh well, you could try these guys. I'd recommend them. You know,
exactly.
and that's what we do. It you know, try and help the customer out.
Yeah.
But don't just send them anywhere. Send them to somewhere that's got similar thoughts and working practices that we've got.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's something that
Yeah.
we try to do wherever possible. And sometimes we've had businesses come to us and say, would you be able to provide X service? And it's like, yes, we
Yeah.
can do. However, it would be through a third party. And what we can instead do is we can introduce you to that third party, and maybe it
Yeah.
would be better for you to get you that solution through them instead.
Yeah.
It's about being honest with your customers and
Yeah.
making
That's
sure
right.
that
Yeah.
you develop these relationships. And if you develop those trusted relationships, people will come back.
Yeah. I mean, you know, we get people come to us for things that other places can't fix,
Yeah.
can't cure, you know. And you know, I've set you a reminder up for your MOT. Ah, well, I'll still be going to so and so. That's
Yeah,
fine.
that's
But
fine.
you've
But at least
still
you've
got a
now got a
reminder.
reminder of when it needs to
Yeah,
be, and they can
that's
go
right.
to somewhere else if they want to as well.
That's it. That's it. But they've got a reminder
Yeah.
because it's amazing how many people forget.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, moving on to our next news story for the day now. So, in the US, YouTube has begun to roll out its AI-powered age verification system, which can
Okay.
alter a user's recommended videos and also adverts depending on if the AI believes that a user may be under 18 or not, requiring
Okay.
users to either enter a government ID, credit card, or even take a selfie to authenticate their actual age. Of course, recently in the UK here, the new Online Safety Act has come into effect, which requires sites that host, let's say, mature content, which also
Questionable
involves,
content even.
yeah,
Yeah.
it also
Yeah.
involves things like Reddit and Discord, anything that is classed as mature, as
Yeah.
well as those other
Okay.
sites as well, to be able to verify the age of their users by similarly asking for proof of ID and even selfie age verification, which has actually
Okay.
led to a massive uptake in UK users using proxy VPN services to get
Yeah.
around these restrictions.
Yeah.
However, many people don't know that many of the free VPN services actually record all of a user's browsing data and even sell the information onto advertisers without the users even knowing it.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
thankfully, I've admitted before I use a proxy VPN service. I've been using one since about 2017. I'm
Yeah.
a huge baseball fan. Love baseball. Probably explains why I've got so many baseball caps, but that's beside the point. But to be able to watch some of the baseball games, I actually have to proxy VPN into different states throughout the US. I have
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
paid subscription to something called MLB TV, which allows me to watch it, but because I'm not in the US, sometimes I have to go to say that I'm in a different state just to be able to watch
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
game, even though I have paid
Yeah.
I paid for it. Um, But thankfully, the paid solutions, like the one that I use, have independent security checks and penetration tests done to make sure that they're not recording data and that none of the traffic that goes through their services can be accessed by malicious third parties, let's say.
Uh-huh.
But I suppose the bigger question surrounding this, when it comes to YouTube or the new Online Safety Act and the sites that are having to put processes in place for it, do you think that age verification by uploading details to these websites is a safe and secure method of protecting children and young people from this type of mature content?
Well, I don't think it is really, is it? It's no, it's not, is it? It's not safe. It's not safe for us, is it at
No.
all? If people want to look at that type of stuff, then pay for it.
Yeah.
And then pay for it with a credit card or a debit card, and then
Yeah.
that's usually a proof of age, and that's it, isn't it?
Exactly.
You
I
know,
think
taking a picture of
uploading.
your facial recognition,
Yeah.
or uploading your passport or driving license or whatever. No, I think that's a no, isn't it?
Yeah,
Really?
you're just asking for this data to be misused, stolen.
Yeah.
I mean, how do we know that the way that they're verifying it? A lot of these services will claim, "Oh, we only hold it for 24 hours to verify your age," or "We don't
Yeah,
hold
yeah.
it for X amount of time." But now there's also third-party services that act as age verification services
All
that
right.
are
Okay.
holding your information on behalf of these other sites and then
Right.
giving authorization. And
Okay.
what I've heard, and people across the internet in the tech industry seem to agree, that the better solution for this would be some form of on-device authentication. So
All right.
imagine
Yeah.
if you, I don't know, you take a picture of your passport on your phone, for example,
Yeah.
and your phone is then able to say, "Yep, that's you. I've got photos of you on your device. That's you. That's your age. You've been able to put that into your account. That's also the same one that's tied to your credit card, for example."
Uh-huh.
So at that point, your phone acts as a age verification. It's not sending that
All right. Yeah.
information
Yeah.
anywhere,
Yeah.
but it would give a authorization code, let's say, to say, yes, this user has on their device, which is secure, not accessed by any third party, on their device, confirmed that they are of a particular age.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there are other services using similar things now where you may have seen it with like Amazon, for example, or PayPal, where they're asking users to be able to set up passkeys instead of
Yeah.
passwords
Yeah. I've seen that. Yeah.
because they are on device. They're more secure because it means that a user has to have access to their device
Yeah.
to be able to authorize access to a particular site. And it's a much more secure method, basically using all of the key identifiers in a secure account login to be able to access these sites. And people are now saying, okay, well, maybe we should transition that passkey method into age verification.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's one idea. Whether manufacturers of these phones like Apple and Samsung and Google, who make different phones, decide to do that is a different thing entirely. But I agree. In the immediate future, I don't think sending your passport or driver's license
No, not
information
a good idea.
to these sites is a
No.
good idea. No,
No, definitely not. No.
no.
No. No.
So let's move on to our 24 tech tips story of the week now. So every week we cover well, when I'm here, as I say, I was off last week. Every week we cover a different tech tip that we include on our website. As I said before,
Okay.
we've got at least one a week for the last nearly 2 years on our website that I've been publishing on there. So
Right.
this week's article is all about the dangers of out-of-date software and also operating systems and hardware as well, but specifically about out-of-date software. So let's start by saying this. There is now only 61 days until Windows 10 becomes end of life. This will leave millions of people around the world with devices that will be vulnerable to new cybersecurity threats, zero day vulnerabilities, and they'll no longer receive security updates. They'll lose
Yeah.
support for software like Microsoft Office, Microsoft 365, Word,
Yeah.
Excel, PowerPoint will no longer be supported on Windows 10 computers after October 14th.
Right.
So whilst out-of-date operating systems such as Windows 10 and earlier ones as well do represent a serious security risk to people and businesses who are using these, out-of-date software such as Microsoft Office not being patched anymore can also present similar security risks because newer updates patch known vulnerabilities in software and reduce the chances of those vulnerabilities being exploited by cyber criminals, which could result in a data breach. So, say, for example, you have an accounting system where you've not updated it for the last year, for example. A cyber criminal could get access into your computer and they know, oh, there was a vulnerability 6 months ago. This one's not been patched. All of a sudden, they have access into a business's accounting system
Right.
and
Yeah.
can do whatever with it. So, making sure that this software is up to date not only brings newer features and improved productivity, and even compliance with things like GDPR, Cyber Essentials, ISO 27001, but it it makes sure that your business, or any business, shall I say, is secure against these
Yeah.
modern threats. At 24 IT Services, for example, we work with businesses to identify potential vulnerabilities in services and
Okay.
software that they're using. So we patch them automatically in the background. We keep businesses protected from evolving threats. Our endpoint management services, for example, they actually look for security patches and regularly
Right.
in the background keep these software and services updated to keep businesses protected. But we also even monitor hardware as well. So if it looks like there's a hard drive failing on a computer, we'll make sure that the business is aware of that and say, look, this older piece of hardware is now coming to an end of its life. We can make sure that you've got something in place so it's not going to impact your business productivity. We also monitor, say, for example, if you've got a computer that's regularly reaching, I don't know, full disk usage or RAM, or maybe graphics processor, like if it's reaching that capacity, we're able to see that and say, okay, well, this user on this computer, maybe that computer isn't fit for their purposes.
Yeah.
So
Right. Yeah.
we can work with businesses to then identify, okay, well, that user, say, for example, it's myself. I'm regularly editing videos or creating graphics. Like my usage is different to another user. So
Yeah.
making sure that me as a user has the right hardware to suit my job role. So we work with businesses to be able to identify these sorts of things and keep these businesses up to date. So that's just one way of thinking of it. But it's also important to remember that in many industries, such as manufacturing, for example, they often rely on older hardware. So
Yeah.
I once worked for a manufacturer, and they had wood and aluminium cutting saws, and the operating systems that they use on those saws dated all the way back to Windows 98. They couldn't be updated. Like the
Yeah.
software wasn't compatible with new operating systems. They were effectively locked to using these older systems. But what it meant was, is if someone came in with a USB stick and plugged it into it, that they could potentially target this business network. So
Yeah.
what we then do is we go into these businesses and understand, okay, well, this particular thing can't be updated, so we need to put extra network protection in place to ensure that nothing can be written onto the network. It can only be read on the network and
Right.
only by that one
Okay.
particular device and only to that one little location, and it can't access anything else. So this is just one example, but we work with businesses to be able to identify this as part of a wider zero trust approach to network level security and protect businesses from these evolving vulnerabilities, let's say.
Yeah.
Now, if anyone wants to find out more about this, like I say, you can head over to our website. We've got a full article on it. But I suppose for yourself, Mark, have you ever come across in your industry where you have to rely on older hardware or software or even services to be able to do particular things that you can't update anymore?
Yeah. I mean, Windows 10 packing in our MOT emissions tester
Yeah,
is on Windows 10,
yeah,
and we can't upgrade that to Windows 11. So that's quite easy. Just unplug the network cable.
yeah.
Yeah, it's quite easy.
That's one way of doing it.
Standalone printer with it. Take it off the network, and we're
Yeah,
sorted. Common sense prevails, doesn't it?
yeah,
One of the diagnostic computers is on Windows 10, and we do use it for older vehicles.
yeah,
Or it's got a specific diagnostic program on there just for Fords.
yeah.
So we have to keep using that. But again, you know, we tend not to have it connected to the network apart from when we're using it.
Yeah, you only use it for
Yeah.
those particular
Yeah.
instances when you do need to, and make sure that you're not using it the rest of the time.
That's
And
right. Yeah.
like I say, for many businesses, that might just be the solution that they have to go down. And
Yeah.
I say we work with businesses to be able to make sure that there's network level security to be able to protect them from vulnerabilities on these older hardwares. But yeah, it's challenging, especially when, like you say, there's some software where you can't use it on a modern computer anymore. You can't upgrade the computer that it's on. Like, it's going to leave many people come the end of the year with devices that are going to just be vulnerable, really.
Yeah. Or you're gonna have to upgrade and get different software, different programming, different machinery.
Exactly.
You've got the expense as well, which
Yeah.
Current climate, not everybody's can go out and buy new equipment just to suit a computer issue.
Yeah, and especially when it's only for maybe one particular need in one particular instance. Like, is it easy to justify? Oh, well, there's this one computer that uses this one software. We use it once every 6 to 7 weeks. Do we need to buy a whole new computer for that, or can we find another way to be able to make it secure in the meantime? Thankfully, Microsoft aren't going to leave people without any sort of security altogether. Now, they are going to be doing something called an extended security program. Where users can pay for, I forget the amount actually, I'd have to reference it, but users can pay annually for up to 3 years to be able to get paid security patches for these devices until they can put in processes to be able to buy newer hardware. So all it means is that they will only get security updates on those machines if they pay this extended security package.
Yeah.
And at the moment, like I say, we're working with businesses, and we now work with businesses in 18 countries. I heard the other day we've just onboarded someone in South America.
Oh wow!
So we're working with businesses throughout the world to be able to.
You're on for the call out for that one, are you?
Yeah. I said just send me over. I mean, once we get the airport reopened, of course. Well,
that's it, mate. Yeah. South America might not be straight away, but you never know, do you?
But yeah, no, I say we support businesses in 18 different countries, and we're working with them to be able to make sure that they're prepared for the Windows 10 end of life, making sure that they have newer hardware in place, and even sourcing hardware within those countries to be able to set it up so that they're not having to pay for import charges and different things like that, of course, as well. So working with businesses to make sure it's as cost effective for them as possible and just keep them supported and secure as well.
Yeah.
But yes, that's our 24 Tech Tips
challenging
tip for today. But every week, when we have guest co-hosts from the local business community, I try to be able to highlight our co-host and the work that they do, the business that they have in the local region, and just find out more about who they are and what they do. But with yourself, Mark, I suppose between the garage and the Save DSA campaign, social media, you have your own podcast as well as sitting in on mine today.
Yeah, we're recording one of those in about half an hour.
Exactly. You're sitting on meetings throughout the local region, attend events at the airport. I mean, where do you find the time?
I don't do much else. Yeah, we don't do much. I get shopping on a Saturday and rest on a Sunday, or do some DIY on a Sunday, and that's it.
And then get straight back into it.
Yeah, busy. The garage is always busy, which is great. We've got a really good customer base. I've got people that have been mending their cars for 25 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're not just customers. You end up with friends. And,
of
course, the Save DSA campaign that keeps me busy the last 3 years.
Yeah. Well, tell us a little bit more about the history.
We estimate it about 60 hours a week.
Yeah.
On my phone and what have you.
So can you tell us a little bit more about the history of the Save DSA campaign and how it all came about?
Well, there was a strategic review done by Peel in June of 2022.
Yeah.
And they were considering closing the airport. Well, I've used the airport, quite a number of times. Yeah. And the garage, we actually, there was an Avis rent-a-car down there, and we used to go and collect the vehicles and service them during the day and take them back. I even had a pass for the car park, so I didn't have to pay to get in. I didn't get billed for the car park every day. We're leaving my van there or car there, And then some of the contractors on site that were maintaining the aircraft, they've got vehicles down there on the apron with the tools and the equipment in. Yeah. And we did 2 or 3 of those. We looked after their vehicles.
Yeah.
This camera's doing mine. Yeah, here we go again. Hello, everybody. And I'm trying not to move at all because this AI camera is brilliant. But It's not me. It's the camera, honestly. So we looked after vehicles that were down based at the airport. They'd fetch them over to the garage. We'd do the servicing, etc. Send them back again.
Yeah.
So we had some customers down there, and I used it myself. And it's a bit strange, but the place that I go on holiday quite a lot, it's got a little Facebook group, but it's not a little Facebook group. It's got 46,000 people on it from all around the world. Just a little resort in Rhodes called Pefcos. And I was sat there reading this about the airport, the strategic review, and then you look on the council website at the time, you look on the chamber websites and what have you, and there was no information about it at all. So I just thought,
you have to fish around here, there, and everywhere to be able to find the information.
Yeah. So I set a Facebook group up. I put it live the next morning, and by the end of the day, we'd got 1,000 members. End of the week was 4,000. And it's just gradually, obviously, it's the membership has slowed down a bit now, but members and participants. So people that have actually commented or shared or liked something, and they've not actually joined the group. So members and participants, we're just short of 30,000.
Wow.
Yeah, and then we've got LinkedIn, which we chat on occasionally, don't we? And we've got X, or Twitter as I still call it.
Yeah.
I
think
Instagram. And I've added it all up, and we've got around 34,000 in total, which is absolutely brilliant.
Wow.
So we've got a voice. The community has got a voice.
Yeah.
And I've used that. We've done TV, we've done radio. We get newspaper articles here and there, and we share information that we've gleaned from the council or people involved in the project to get the airport open. And behind the scenes, we're in contact quite regularly with what's going off, and it's been an interesting 3 years. I've got we don't have a little black book anymore, do we? We have a mobile phone.
Yes.
I've cameras doing it again, look, and I've got some contacts on there that I never thought I'd have. You know what I mean? Absolutely brilliant. It's been a really interesting project. Some of it with social media, and our friends that we'll probably just call them keyboard warriors. They're frustrated. I'm gonna take a bat to this camera in a minute. Hello, we're here again. And it's been
there are some people.
3 years.
There are some people online who will always try and be negative, let's say, or maybe sometimes it doesn't even take them trying. It's just they will be negative for being negative.
It's automatically built into them, isn't it?
Yeah. And
I think it's great because no matter what they're doing, whether they're being positive or negative about me, I've got broad shoulders. It doesn't bother me, to be fair.
Exactly.
And there isn't such a thing as bad publicity.
No, I think they're
still
most
publicising your name and what you're doing.
Yeah. I think the most important thing is that as a community, we come together, whether it's through the Save DSA campaign or through other means, that we come together to try and do the best for our local region.
That's it.
Do the best for bringing the airport back, and
that's it.
Try and get businesses across the local region even to work together as well.
Yeah, I mean we've seen it with the chamber, haven't we? Where they're doing videos from all different businesses that are all supporting the airport reopening. What have you?
Exactly.
The biggest thing is when you get a group of individuals. One person's got no voice, have they? But you got 30,000 people.
Yeah.
And we have got a voice, and we have been able to influence what's going off.
Yeah. And it's been great to be able to see.
People involved have suggested that without what's gone off here with the business community and the community on the social media and that, they probably wouldn't be where they are now. It's influenced the council doing what they've done, to get the airport back open.
Definitely.
Which is absolutely brilliant. Did they expect it to be this busy and what have you? No, probably not. But you can't. Once you've started something like this, you can't stop, can you?
No, you can't. And it's great to be able to see so many people passionate about getting the airport back open.
Yeah,
and
that's it.
I'm a member of the Facebook group, and I've commented on it a few times here, there, and everywhere over the years.
Of course, it's hashtag Save DSA, Save Doncaster Sheffield Airport over on Facebook. We'll get a quick. There's our logo. Look, yeah.
I keep it on my shelf behind me.
Yeah. Design that on Paint on Microsoft on Windows. Yeah. That was it. Yeah.
I did not realise that you designed it in Paint.
yeah, that's right, mate. Yeah.
That's brilliant.
But it stands out, and I think it's brilliant. I think we need to talk to Doncaster Council and we need to get rid of the Save and just use that as the new logo for the airport when it reopens.
Yeah.
Because it's been on social media for the last 3 years all the time. But the best thing about the airport is how passionate people are, and you're right about that.
Yeah.
And you talk to the ex-staff, you know. I went on there, they had a reunion the first year in 2023.
Did they?
And the biggest, and I got invited. And the biggest thing that they were all saying was they want to go back home. They didn't class it as a job, they classed it as home.
Yeah.
You know. And then yesterday when we were at the Vulcan, Simon, who's the new operations director down at the airport, he's come from East Midlands. And he's worked for Manchester Airport Group for some time now.
Yeah.
And he was saying it was surprising how passionate, not just what he sees on social media, but how passionate the people that are working there now are about the airport. You know, and one of the biggest things is, you know, that I see is people moaning that it's taking too long and what have you. But when you speak to industry experts, they're surprised how quick we've got where we are now.
Yeah. I was speaking with someone yesterday about the airspace. Yeah. And they were saying, yes, we've had to have the existing airspace taken away, but that's so it can be applied for again under the classifications that it needs to be for the future of the airport. And that actually, the speed of which that they're trying to get that pushed through has never been done before.
Well, the beauty of it is that the Civil Aviation Authority and the Department for Transport are working with Doncaster Council and Cirrus, the industry experts that they've got involved, and the legal teams and what have you, and they're working together to get the airspace back and ready for opening. You know, and that's unprecedented. Yeah. Normally they give you rules and regulations, they tell you to get on with it and do it. You send it in, oh no, you've got that wrong. Oh no, you've got that wrong. Yeah. They're actually working together around the table to get it sorted. You know,
that's great to me.
Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
You know.
It's great to see so many businesses in the local region as well wanting to be a part of it and wanting to support the reopening as well. I mean, not just businesses around the business park.
Yeah. I've got a list of people that have contacted me through my social media accounts, asking to, you know, what can they do to help? Yeah. And you know, with getting the airport back open, you know, whether they're doing flooring or painting, decorating, whatever, tarmac, you know. Yeah. And it's absolutely brilliant that I've been able to pass all that information on to Christian down at the airport there, Christian Foster, who works for Doncaster Council. Yeah. He's in charge of the project. You know, and it's great that I can pass stuff like that on to him, you know. Yeah. And I'll send him information. I'll just give him my email address, you know, and the amount of people I've spoken to on email and that to get that sorted has been brilliant. Yeah. You know?
And it's great to see that you're doing that as well. Don't know. Not only that they're trying to work with local businesses, but also that you as part of the head of the Save DSA campaign, not just part of it, but that people are coming to you and people trust you enough to be able to say, you know what, look, I know that you're involved in it and that, you know, you've got contacts there. Do you think you can pass my details on? Because I would love to be involved in the success of it. And it's good to see so many businesses in the local region wanting to see it become a success and be a part of its success as well. And
I mean, one of the biggest things I've been saying to the people down there. I mean, I met Munich Airport International. I met them one morning. Yeah, thought it was just a coffee and a chat. No, 2.5 hours, PowerPoint presentation, question and answer session. But they wanted answers. They wanted to know opinions. You know, they weren't just bothered about how they were going to do it. They wanted to know what we wanted as well. Yeah, which was really good. You know, and I think one of the biggest things that I've gone for, and I've said it to the council and to the chamber and to Munich, you know, is we don't want the golden arches in our airport. We want a local firm, a local burger company or fast food chain that we've got in Doncaster, you know. Yeah. Or we want this camera's doing it again, isn't it? You know.
This is going to be the outtakes from today's episode. Your camera just going like,
it's doing it. I'm not even moving, and it's just there we go, it's back again. And it's you know, we don't want Witherspoons. Perhaps we want a local pub chain, a local hostelry, a local restaurant, you know, a local news agents in there, because that'll got, you know, it's great that no matter who's in there, they'll be probably more than likely be employing local people. Yeah, you know, but if it's a big chain, that the profit goes out of the area.
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine like going in and sitting in the pub and I don't know, we've got like some Doncaster brewery or something. And like local pints, local food.
Munich have got their own brewery.
Have they?
Munich Airport have got their own brewery and they sell the beer in the lounges.
Oh wow, I did not realise that.
Yeah. So you know, things like that needs looking at, and that, you know, we need to make sure that we use local companies for everything. You know, I think Ros Jones is one of the things Ros Jones says about the council budget it's quite a high percentage must be spent in Doncaster.
Yeah.
You know,
And
and then
it's
why
good to
can't
be
we
able to
do
see
that with the airport?
Yeah.
You know, so it's got to be different to how it was before.
Yeah.
You know, it's got to be run completely different, which obviously these guys from Munich, they know what they're doing with airport.
Yeah, and also the way that they're doing it through Fly Doncaster as well, and getting local businesses involved. Yeah, like
it separates it from the council.
Yeah,
and then it can be run as a commercial operation.
Yeah,
which is exactly the same as St Ledger Homes.
Yeah,
it's exactly the same principle as they've got for St Ledger Homes, a limited company set up by the council to run the housing and. Yeah, it's moving again, mate. And but it's exactly the same vehicle.
Yeah,
exactly the same idea, and it's great. And then there's going to be a couple of committees down there. There's going to be a consultative committee.
Yeah,
where the operators of the airport and Fly Doncaster will be telling local people what they're doing and getting their opinions on future work.
Yeah,
and then there may well be a charitable contribution committee.
Yeah.
Apparently, what happens with all major airports is if an aircraft's late leaving or gets delayed or what have you, they get fined.
Yeah.
Well, what they're doing is the plan is the same as most other airports in the UK. Is those fines will go into a pot and then that'll be given to some local charities.
Yeah. Oh, that's good to be able to hear.
So there's all sorts happening there at the airport that people don't know about, and I'm not releasing anything that's I'm not telling anybody anything that we can't tell.
No.
I mean, we had Oliver Coppard on our podcast on Monday.
Yeah,
we recorded it on Monday. We can't give it out until after the by-election in Bentley because they don't want anything to possibly influence that by-election. So legally, we can't put it out until after the 21st. But it was the only time he could get.
Yeah.
And Oliver
trying to find his time is difficult at the best of times.
Yeah. Pinning one of these officials down to get them to come to a radio station in Mexborough at Doncaster Radio. It takes some doing. We've juggled his diaries and moved all sorts. We've had three different dates to get him in, and then something else had happened. And but to be fair to Oliver, he was quite open. We gave him a selection of questions.
Yeah.
And basically the answer was he'll answer anything you want to ask him.
Yeah.
I gave him the list of questions when we got there, so I don't need that.
Yeah.
And he answered us off the cuff.
Oh, that's good.
We had Roger Jones in, 2 or 3 weeks ago. Again, straightforward questions, straightforward answers.
Yeah. And that's what you want at the end of the day.
And MP Lee Pitcher is our first double visitor. It's been twice now to us, and again, it all seems positive and what have you. And I need it to calm down a bit, because I need to get some work done at the garage. We've got another podcast this morning with Sean from the chamber.
Yes.
Well, this afternoon, sorry. With Sean from the chamber, and we're just trying to keep people engaged and keep people interested because it has been very quiet on news.
Yeah.
But there's that much going off in the background. It's good.
And there's also talks, of course, other businesses coming in around the airport as well. Manufacturers, for example, and different people.
Gateways.
Yeah. And the opportunities that it will provide to people in terms of jobs, in terms of upskilling in the local region and being a part of that wider airport sort of benefits.
5,000, possibly 5,000 jobs.
Yeah.
It's been mentioned billions to the economy. But they're going through the numbers again and they're redoing the numbers so that they make sure that they've got the story right and got everything right before we get the financing agreed next month.
Yeah. Nobody
said no, Yeah. And we've got people in authority coming on and talking about it,
Yeah.
So, let's fingers crossed we get a positive. That's it, mate. We get a positive in September, but you wouldn't go on social media and podcasts and stuff talking about it if you were going to shy away from it, would you?
Exactly. And the good thing is, like I say, everyone seems to be so positive around it. They're trying to do the best to be able to bring everything back, not only to where it was before, but better.
Yeah, a lot better. Yeah.
The
Gateways or South Yorkshire Airport City, as they've called it.
Yeah.
It's a large site. The airport's 800 acres and Gateway East is 1,200 acres.
Yeah.
there's planning. I think there's planning gone in for some houses, but there's planning there already for development, factory units, and we've got a little bit of land called DSA 04, which runs down the fence line.
Yeah.
As part of the lease with the airport, and it's one of the only places in the UK where there's actually access to airside.
Yeah.
For a new development. All the other airports are expanding and doing this and doing that and spending millions, and they've got no space.
No.
This is ripe for development, and it's right for hangars and maintenance and freight and what have you. Again, freight, everywhere's full, everywhere's busy.
Yeah.
We've got Amazon and what have you fetching, and Woodland Group fetching stuff in on trains occasionally.
Yeah.
But then they've got 20 lorries coming up and down every day from London or East Midlands as well, and it's the environmental issues. We've got to offset flying with other things, haven't we? They've gone about net zero and that, and if we've got planes flying in and out, for us going on holiday, if Doncaster's not open, we're going to go somewhere else and use a different aircraft. So we're not having the holiday makers and the sun flights, as they call them, that's not going to affect the environment, because they'll just take those airplanes from somewhere else. It just means we're not. I mean, the biggest thing about it is, personally, is we're not driving to Manchester.
Or any of the other local airports.
Or London, even, depending on where you want to go. So we're not affecting the environment with that. And then getting the freight into the airport, then that will offset all these lorries driving up and down the country.
Like you say, you've got your likes of your Amazon, Woodland, 2XL, who are already at the airport and already even using the airport for.
They're using it at the moment. That's right. Yeah.
So.
And what a company! In fact, stayed there for 3 years. It's cost them in excess of £7 or £8 million to stay there.
Oh yeah. Well, they believed in the mission. They believed in bringing the airport back, and they believed that Doncaster was the place that they wanted and needed to be.
Not only have they spent all that money to stay there, they've grown.
Yeah.
They've gone from 200 and some employees to over 500 employees now.
Yeah. One of my friends actually works there now. He lives not far from the airport, and when he saw that they were like employing, he was like, I want to be a part of that growth of this business and the growth of the airport. And he was like, I'm going straight there, sort of thing.
Yeah, 100%. And you talk to ex-employees and that, and I've ended up with some good friends. That are ex-employees from the airport. Didn't know them before I set up this campaign, and it's really good, and it does take some time away from the garage.
Like, how long are we into this recording at the moment?
But it's, you've got these things going, and you've got to run with it, and you've got to keep going with it. Ros Jones asked, the question on the podcast was about, where do you see the campaign moving, once the airport's back open and that? Well, we want you to continue what you're doing, Mark. You're doing a sterling job type of thing, And it's like, was it time for retirement? I've got a part-time job.
Well, at that point, it grows beyond just raising awareness of reopening the airport, but continuing awareness on where people can go and the services that are available around there, jobs that are coming up in the local region, and it becomes that much more holistic approach to getting people involved in the airport and the surrounding area as well.
Yeah. I want them, obviously get the funding now. And when we start getting some new equipment, some new machinery, start employing staff, I want to be there when that's delivered, so we can.
You want to be on the first flight out. That's what it is, don't you?
Well, yeah, that'd be good, wouldn't it? But, or the first flight in, whichever,
Yeah, whichever.
But that'd be good.
Yeah.
It's not what we've done it for,
No, I'm joking, of course, but.
I know, mate. I know, but you know what? There was a comment the other day on another Facebook group. That I've done it to promote my business. I never mention my business on the airport side. No. I might have a shirt on with my logo on.
Yeah,
But
then again, you are taking time out of your day job to be able to do this. So, of course, you're going to be in your work shirt.
A few companies, I've shared a few bits from a couple of companies that have been supportive of me and helped me. Being Doncaster Radio do a great job. We use their studio for the podcast.
Yeah.
And Bruce is always talking about the airport campaign when we had some news going off.
Yeah.
Only yesterday with the military and military versus cancer.
Yeah.
He did an article on it.
Yeah.
He had a chat about it. Darren at the Free Press. Darren did an article
on the weekend. Yeah.
You know, and the guys are very supportive of what we're doing with the campaign, you
Yeah.
know. And I think you have to give that little bit back,
Of course. Of
you know.
course.
But personally, I don't do it,
No.
you know. You're doing it for me. I'm blaming you this time.
Yes,
But
it's
no,
my fault this
on a
time.
serious note, you know, I've not done it for any of that. I've earned a good living here in
Yeah.
Doncaster. I've been here all my life, and you know, Doncaster's a city now.
Yeah.
We all keep slipping up and calling it the town centre still. Even the mayor's done it, you know, and
Yeah.
the politicians do it, you know. But we all keep calling it I'm going into town. But we're
It's
not. It's a
learned
city.
behaviour into, oh, I'm just popping into town sort of thing.
That's it. That's it. You know, and giving that bit back, and you know, trying to help, you know, improve for others. I think it's great.
Yeah.
You know,
To
just doing that
try
little
and
bit.
grow Doncaster, to try
Yeah.
and promote businesses working with each other,
Yeah.
promote business within the local region,
That's it.
and what you're
You
doing
know,
with the
working with
airport.
the chamber as well. You
Yeah.
know, and yeah, we both go to the chamber events and that.
Yep.
You know, and yeah, we do a bit of networking, but it's mainly about improving Doncaster.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
You
And
know,
that's the
and that's what
most
it's all
important
about.
thing
Yeah.
for us to see the success of our local region. That's the
Yeah.
most important thing, and I think
I think
what you're doing
we've got
is
one of the best
brilliant.
local chambers
Yeah.
in the country.
Oh, definitely, definitely, and that's
You know,
part of the reason actually why we chose to sponsor the Doncaster Business Awards this year, headline
yeah,
sponsor,
yeah,
because we have such a brilliant local chamber. We've worked with them now,
yeah,
and we actually support them
yeah,
for many years, and to be able to support and sponsor the business awards this year is our way
yeah,
of kind of giving back to them and saying, look, you
yeah.
do amazing work. And we have so many great businesses throughout the local region
Mm,
that all do amazing work. And we want to be able to celebrate that. We want to be
yeah,
able to say, look, you are all doing such great work. And we want to say,
yeah,
well done. We want to
yeah. No,
come
I think
and,
it's a good thing that you've done.
yeah,
You know,
want to come and have a
I think
drink with
it's
you
brilliant. And,
and
you know,
celebrate that.
but yeah, well, the chamber people don't realise what the chamber actually does.
No. Oh, much more beyond.
It
Yeah.
doesn't just collect 70 or 80 or £100 a month off us, and you know, and set up an award ceremony at the end of every year and have a party. You know, and
No.
there's so much going off in the background. You know, with you know, they've got they do a lot of work with companies that do exporting and that.
Yeah.
But the work they do with the council
Yeah.
that we don't know about, you know, is absolutely unbelievable.
Oh, definitely.
And you know, yeah, I've big thumbs up to Doncaster Chamber, you know.
Yeah.
And we go to the networking events, and everybody's great, and everybody gets on, and you know, and we all have a bit of a giggle sometimes. I mean, I'm a bit of a comedian. I like to have a bit of a laugh and a joke, you know. But
You were always having a laugh at a joke when we're at events.
I like to get somebody on hook and just have a bit of fun, you know.
Yeah.
And it's all good fun, and it's all but everybody gets on, and
Yeah.
everybody will talk, and you know, you turn up at a networking and it's like, oh, I don't know anybody, but somebody will come up and say hello to you.
Yeah. I've had that
You know,
plenty of times. Like,
Mm.
I'll be the very first one to admit that I'm very much an introvert, but I
Yeah,
will go to an event and people will say, oh, I've seen your posts on LinkedIn, and let's start
yeah,
a conversation.
yeah, yeah,
Or I will be talking to someone that I've seen at other events, and someone will come up and
yeah,
say, oh, I just wanted to introduce myself. Yeah, come and stay for a chat for a
yeah,
little
yeah.
bit, sort of
That's it.
thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You
So
do just end up standing with same people, don't you? So you have to get
sometimes
out
you
of that
can.
habit yourself.
Sometimes you can. So sometimes it's good to
Yeah,
be able to kind of like diversify and find. I
that's right.
always keep a list. In fact, it's over here. I always keep a list of people that I've met at events that I've not yet had a chance to reach out to. And it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
I want to be
yeah,
able to reach out to these people and say, hey, sorry, I didn't get a chance to chat at the last event. Maybe if I see
yeah,
you at
yeah.
another event in the not too distant future, we can sit
We'll say
down and have a
hello,
coffee,
etc.
sort
Yeah,
of thing.
yeah, yeah.
So,
You know. Of course, there's not just the chamber. There's other places we can go as well, isn't there?
yeah. Yeah,
You know,
and also the work that
you know,
Business Doncaster do in the local region, as well as Doncaster
they,
Chamber.
you know,
So
and I think the council are in, you know, they're invested in Doncaster. Of course, they're invested in Doncaster, you know, but they do a lot of different things. You know, this airport thing, they seem to be quite entrepreneurial.
yeah,
You know, there's not many local authorities would do what Doncaster's doing,
no,
but they see the benefits of it.
yeah,
You know, it's brilliant,
yeah,
absolutely brilliant that we're getting there now slowly. You know, and of course, you know, it's social media and all that. It helps us all, doesn't it? You
yeah,
know, get the word out one way or another. You know,
yeah. I'd say we try to do our best to be able to support local businesses, to be able to even just with the podcast, for example, bring on people from the local business community and share their stories.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we've been quite lucky over the past few years. We've been able to gain quite a good following in the local region. People are aware of who we are, what we do, and between the 24 socials having 3,500 something followers on LinkedIn, just alone 3,500 I think on Facebook. My own LinkedIn, for example, something like 11,000 or something like that. It's good to be able to share the stories of other people in the local region.
100%, yeah. And it gives other people the idea that they can actually do the same.
Yeah.
Because we're just normal people, me and you, mate.
Exactly.
You know, aren't we? You know, at the end of the day, you know.
We may have a little bit of fun with like local influencer or LinkedIn influencer.
Yeah, I've seen that. Business owner and local influencer. Yeah. Thank you. I'll take that one. Yeah.
We had a bit of a joke about it when we were at the event yesterday, when I've been at events previously, someone once called me a LinkedIn influencer. That's why it's in quotation marks on my LinkedIn profile.
Yeah, I've seen it, mate. It's a quote. Yeah, that's it.
It's not that I'm calling myself an influencer by any means of the imagination. I don't feel that I'm an influencer.
I can do the same with local influencer. I can do the same.
Exactly.
I think the best title I've got, my missus, apparently I drive a bit too fast occasionally. She says I'm a 59-year-old boy racer. I'll take that title.
That needs to go in your LinkedIn tagline.
That's it, mate. I'll have to have that. I'll have to have that personal one. Yeah.
But thank you very much for being able to come on to the show today.
No, thank you. Thanks for inviting me. It's brilliant.
Yeah, it's just good to be able to chat and get your views on things, hear more about the history.
I've been silent on the old AI and tech stuff. You know, I'm sort of like, really? Can you do that?
Yeah. So where can people find you, or where can people hear the podcast if they want to be able to find out more? Where can people come and find out more about the business and have car serviced?
That's right. So we've got obviously the garage, www.stadiumgarageltd.co.uk. You can all his information's on there. We have all the service listing and the basic labour prices on there. You can book an MOT online, so you can go on there online and book an MOT for your motorcycle, your car, your van, your camper van, any size camper van. We've got facilities to take lorries that have been turned into campers and MOT them here. You know, we do servicing, maintenance, repairs, head gaskets, timing belts, just about anything. We don't do body work. That's the easiest answer. You know, that's what we don't do. You know, we've got a Facebook group, Stadium Garage Limited. I've got my own Facebook, you know, Mark Chadwick. Save DSA, hashtag Save DSA, Save Doncaster Sheffield Airport. It's the biggest. There's 2 or 3 different other accounts that other people are running. Ours is the biggest one. We get more interaction and what have you going off with people. I try and keep it fairly non-political. It's usually the comments that are political, not the posts that we do. You know, and you can't do much about that. Everybody's got an opinion, and you know, I try and leave it as it is. But occasionally we might have to just remove the odd comment. But you know, it just to keep some stability and some
make it friendly.
Keep it sane, if that makes sense. Keep it friendly. That's it. You know, and we're on LinkedIn. Save Doncaster Sheffield Airport. The garage has got a LinkedIn as well. Save Stadium Garage Limited. You've got 2 heads in you. You know. I've got a pal here now who's just been answering the phone for me and whatever. And he had a business 5 years ago, and a garage, and he's answered the phone in the name of his old garage yesterday. You know.
Sometimes it just happens. Sometimes it just happens.
You know, we're all, but you know, Stadium Garage got a LinkedIn account, and we're on Twitter or X. You know, we've got a garage account on Twitter. We've got a Save DSA account on LinkedIn. I've got a personal one on there as well. You know, it's very difficult sometimes though, to sort of keep them all separate.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and there's naturally, because of you being involved in so many different things, there's always going to be this kind of like cross between them in some way, shape, or form. Where can people find the podcast as well?
All right, well that's easy. That one. It's quite a good name. We've called it It's Not Terminal. Okay, so the terminal with the airport, you know, and it's not terminal because it's not dead yet. You know, it's alive and kicking. You know, and basically that is just about on all major podcast platforms. So if you go on Amazon, you go on Spotify, you know, you go on your iTunes and what have you. That camera's doing it again. You know, and just type in It's Not Terminal and you'll find it.
Brilliant.
I put links on the Facebook group. when we do a new episode. So there's links on there and what have you.
And I'll link it down in our description as well for anyone who hasn't already found it.
But it's just an open conversation. We might set a few topics up, or we might set a few questions up, depending on who it is.
Yeah.
Because some of these people can't tell us everything. Obviously,
Oh no,
it's to be expected. So we do set some form of a pattern to,
like
to what
a format of when I go through the topics, for example, I try to tailor the questions to the person who I have as a guest, because not everyone's going to be very technical. Like sometimes you have to tailor it to the people that you have, and also the audience that you've got listening as well.
Right. Yeah. So it's been very good. I mean, we've not done an episode 13. We've kept that out of there. We're on episode.
I don't count episode numbers. I just count the date.
All right. Yeah.
Just my way of doing it.
And 15 episodes, and it's been downloaded over 3,000 times, and it's getting some reaction from people. It's brilliant.
Brilliant.
And again, Doncaster, I keep saying it, but Doncaster Radio have been absolutely brilliant. We use their studio, and it's all soundproofed and air conditioned, and they've got all the equipment and what have you. But it still ends up with me just editing out the odd cough, and what have you, And
it happens.
I don't edit any content.
No.
It is what it is. All I'm editing out is just any coughs or I've got a habit of rattling my keys in my pocket, and stuff like that, when we're talking, and so we just edit the little bits out, and it's usually about half an hour.
Yeah.
And it's really informative.
Yeah, that's part of the reason why I try to do the podcast live where possible, because it's sometimes easier and much more natural to just have a conversation.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. That's what I treat it as, just chatting. It's like, now I know what I'm talking about, so I'm rabbiting on like a good.
Exactly.
You're on about your AI and all that, and I'm like, yeah, sure. We're good. Yeah.
Churchill the nodding dog at that point.
Dog, that's it, mate, But yeah, so really appreciate you inviting me on here, mate. Absolutely superb.
Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, we'll get it shared all over, and everybody can have a listen, have a laugh with us, and hopefully enjoy what we've been rambling on about.
Yeah. Well, I say I will try to timestamp everything, and you can share timestamps to little snippets if you want to as well. But thank you very much for coming on to the show today. I think that's probably about all that we've got time for, because you've got your own podcast to be able to record very shortly as well.
Half an hour to get everything set up for mine now. Yeah, that's it, mate.
Right. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you, everyone who's tuned in this week as well. And it's a little bit later than usual, but making sure
it was fun yesterday morning, though, mate.
It was a really good, really good morning for a really great cause. So thank you very much, and I hope everyone has a great week. See you later.
Thanks ever so much. Thanks, everybody. All the best now.